Hi, I'm your host, Brenda Close.
And I'm your co-host, Kaili Smalley.
And this is our podcast,
Treasuring Education.
Welcome back to our Empowering Parents series. Today we'll be discussing the modes of learning, as well as Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. You may recall back in our episode 2.1 that we discussed the multiple intelligences, but that was specific to children. As parents, understanding these concepts can help us better understand ourselves in our own learning and then in turn support our children's learning.
And that's right. An awareness of how people, especially ourselves, learn best is really crucial for understanding those various methods of teaching and how your child is processing information. So let's start by exploring the VARK model, that's V-A-R-K, which stands for visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic.
The VARK model is similar to VACOG. You might know that one. It's the acronym for our 6 senses.
6? I thought we only had 5 senses. We have visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory or smell, gustatory or taste. And that's just 5.
Yeah, you're forgetting the 6th. The 6th is the silent H for our sense of humor.
Okay, that's very funny, Mom. And while your goofy sense of humor may have kept your students mildly entertained, it's really the 4 modes of perception and learning that's important here. So again, those are visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic.
That's right. The VARK model suggests that individuals have different preferences when it comes to their learning. Visual learners prefer seeing information presented in visual forms, like in charts, diagrams, and videos. Auditory learners, on the other hand, learn best through hearing information, like listening to podcasts, lectures, or discussions. If reading and writing is your preferred mode, you'll likely get the most from reading textbooks and taking notes. And lastly, kinesthetic learners thrive most through hands-on activities and movement.
And we actually hit 3 of those modes in our Empowering Parents series, with this podcast as the auditory, the videos as the visual, and then those transcripts as the reading and written.
Right. We each have a preference, and one way that you can tell which mode you prefer is just with a little bit of self-reflection. Do you ask people to tell you or show you something? When you look up a new recipe, do you jump directly to the recipe, or do you watch the video first? Do you prefer writing and reading email from your child's teacher, or would you rather just drop in and have a quick conversation, even for the small things?
And I really think that context has a lot to do with this, because between the visual and auditory, I think I prefer the visual mode. But when I'm learning new things and new concepts, it sticks best when I jump right in and do whatever it is that I'm learning.
And once you're aware of your own preferences, you can then start to watch your children to see how they learn best.
So you might notice that people in general learn best when more than one mode is engaged. And when learning something new, it's important to note your mode preference, but know that it's beneficial to absorb the information in multiple modes.
Right. And we see that in school all the time. For example, when we learned about numbers and addition, you may have used concrete objects like blocks or even Legos. Visually, you see the total number of objects increasing. Auditorily, you're hearing the language of math, like plus or minus and add and subtract. Kinesthetically, you've manipulated these objects, and then the reading and writing mode was added with paper and pencil. That reading and writing mode is definitely the most abstract. You may have even gone into the bodily kinesthetic and moved in groups to see the addition of multiple people to a group.
And that makes perfect sense.
Okay, so now let's shift our focus to Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences.
Okay, so Gardner's theory expands the notion of intelligence beyond that traditional view that it is solely based on academic ability. And according to Gardner, there are multiple types of intelligences, and those include linguistic, logical mathematical, musical, bodily kinesthetic, spatial, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic intelligences.
Linguistic refers to proficiency in language and communication, while logical mathematical intelligence involves logical reasoning and problem-solving skills. Musical intelligence relates to sensitivity and talent in music, and bodily kinesthetic intelligence involves physical coordination and movement.
Yes, and spatial intelligence is all about visualizing and mentally manipulating objects and spaces, which I am terrible at. And while interpersonal intelligence pertains to understanding and relating well to others, which is probably my forte. Intrapersonal intelligence involves that self-reflection and really understanding someone's own emotions. And then finally, the naturalistic intelligence focuses on the ability to recognize and appreciate the natural world.
Understanding these different intelligences can help us identify and nurture our own strengths and interests and recognize areas for improvement. It equips us to then tap into our own diverse intelligences and support our own growth.
That's right. And it's important to remember that each person is unique, and we each have our own blend of learning modes and intelligences. So by recognizing and embracing our individualities, we can create an environment in which we can be the most successful.
Very well said. Understanding the modes of learning and multiple intelligences can empower us as parents now to provide the best support for our children's education. Thinking about the modes and the multiple intelligence to me is really like imagining a mixing board. There are several inputs, the modes, that's how we receive information, and then there are several ways to process it. Those are the multiple intelligences. We can help ourselves and our children by tuning in to our default settings and then exploring the areas where our settings can be adjusted a little bit.
That makes it a little more clear. I like that. And that concludes today's discussion on the modes of learning and Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences.
Join us in our next session as we discuss the stages of physical development. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform to get notifications of our next podcasts, and sign up for our newsletter at www.treasuringeducation.com.